Imagine a temple so vast it could fit a football field inside it, gleaming white marble, towering columns, and golden statues of gods. This was the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Dedicated to Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, fertility, and nature, it wasn't just a place of worship. It was an architectural marvel that symbolized wealth, devotion, and human ambition at its peak. The Temple of Artemis stood in the ancient city of Ephesus, near modern-day Selçuk in Turkey. It was first built around 550 BC under the direction of King Croesus of Lydia, one of the richest men in history. The architects Chersiphron and his son Metagenes designed it, while hundreds of craftsmen and sculptors contributed to its magnificent decoration. It was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. The final version was larger, grander, and more magnificent than ever before. Ancient writers described it as 377 feet long, 180 feet wide, and supported by 127 columns, each 60 feet tall and carved entirely from marble. The columns themselves were masterpieces, some adorned with sculpted reliefs, others gilded with gold. Inside stood colossal statues of Artemis surrounded by altars, gold offerings, and marble sculptures of gods, animals, and mythical scenes. Its scale and beauty outshone every other temple in the Greek world. But what would it cost to rebuild this temple today? Let's start with the marble. The Temple of Artemis used more than 40,000 tons of marble, quarried, shaped, transported, and polished to perfection. Today, high-quality marble suitable for monumental architecture costs anywhere between $400 and $1,000 per cubic meter. Factoring in cutting, polishing, transportation, and installation, the marble alone would cost between $500 million and $800 million. Next, the columns, 127 massive pillars, each 60 feet tall. To recreate them would require precision cutting, specialized cranes, and expert stonemasons. Modern column casting or carving on this scale would likely cost around $2 to $4 million per column. Multiply that by 127, and we're looking at $250 to $500 million just for the columns. The roof and decorative elements add even more. The temple's roof was wooden but covered in gold-plated tiles and bronze fittings. The sculptural friezes and statues throughout would require hundreds of modern artisans and months of work. Using today's technology and materials, the decorative and sculptural work could cost another $300 million. And then the statue of Artemis itself, covered in gold, silver, and precious stones. A modern reconstruction using gold plating, precious stone inlays, and intricate metalwork could easily cost $100 million or more, depending on the materials used and level of authenticity. Labor and logistics would also drive up the total. The ancient builders worked for decades using armies of craftsmen and slaves. Today, this would involve engineers, architects, crane operators, sculptors, historians, and project managers, all paid modern rates. Labor and management could add another $200 million. Add to that the cost of land, excavation, foundations, lighting, safety, and visitor infrastructure, and the total skyrockets. A modern reconstruction of the Temple of Artemis, faithful to its original grandeur, could cost between $1.3 billion and $1.8 billion. That's roughly equivalent to building a world-class museum complex or an entire modern sports stadium for a single temple. But the question isn't just how much it would cost, it's what it would mean. The Temple of Artemis was more than a structure. It was a symbol of the prosperity of Ephesus and a showcase of art and devotion. Pilgrims traveled from all over the Mediterranean to see it. Its destruction, first by fire in 356 BC and later by invading armies, mark the loss of one of humanity's greatest creations. Rebuilding it today would be both an engineering feat and a philosophical question. Should humanity spend billions reviving a lost wonder? Or should it be remembered through preservation and storytelling? Some would argue it should remain a ruin, a reminder of the passage of time. Others might see it as a chance to inspire a new generation, much like the Parthenon inspires millions every year. In modern terms, a rebuilt Temple of Artemis would become one of the world's most visited landmarks. A blend of museum, architectural marvel, and spiritual site. It could draw millions of visitors to Turkey, boost tourism, and serve as a cultural bridge between the ancient and modern worlds. But even if we never rebuild it, imagining the cost gives us perspective on what the ancients achieved without modern technology. They quarried, carved, and assembled this massive temple using human skill, ingenuity, and willpower. And that's what truly makes it one of the greatest wonders ever built. So if we ever dared to rebuild the Temple of Artemis, it wouldn't just cost billions of dollars. It would demand a return to the same spirit of imagination, ambition, and devotion that built it 2,500 years ago. And as our journey through the seven wonders continues, we're reminded that every great monument is more than just stone and money. It's a reflection of who we are and what we choose to celebrate. Next, we'll travel to Halicarnassus once more, to explore how human ambition and love created a wonder that still inspires builders to this day.